Most traders think their trade failed because their entry was bad. But sometimes the entry was not the problem, the target was. In this example, price breaks out, gives what looks like a clean retest, and you take the short. The stop loss makes sense, the take profit looks realistic, but instead of pushing into your TP, price reacts, rejects, and stops you out. Now watch what happens when we turn on the node breach engine. Suddenly, the chart tells a completely different story. There was a major point of void sitting right between your entry and your target. In other words, your TP was placed behind one of the least traded price areas on the chart. That means you're expecting price to push through a zone where no traders were positioned in a previous swing. And that is the point of this engine. It is not here to give you random buy and sell signals. It is here to show you where price is likely to react, where targets become dangerous, and where node breaches can create better trade opportunities. The node breach engine is built around one simple idea. Price does not move through empty space. It moves through areas where traders are positioned. A normal chart shows you candles. This engine shows you the auction behind those candles. It maps out volume distribution, identifies the point of control, highlights the value area, detects low volume voids inside that value area, and then marks potential breach or rejection events when price interacts with those important nodes. So instead of asking, is this candle bullish or bearish, you start asking better questions. Where did most trading activity happen? Where is price likely to react? Is my target sitting behind a major node? Is price breaching a high participation area or rejecting from it? Am I trading with a trend context or directly into it? That is the shift this tool is designed to create. Before we talk about the indicator, you need to understand volume profile. Most traders are used to normal volume bars at the bottom of the chart. That tells you how much volume traded during a certain candle or time period. But volume profile asks a different question. It does not ask how much volume traded at 10 o'clock. It asks how much volume traded at this price. That is a big difference, because if a lot of volume traded at one price level, that means a lot of traders have positions, decisions, entries, exits, winners, losers, stops, and emotions connected to that area. Those areas can become sticky. Price may slow down there. Price may reject there. And if price finally breaks through, that breach can also become meaningful. A high volume node is an area where a lot of trading activity happened. Think of it as a crowded area. There are many traders positioned there, so price often reacts when it comes back into that zone. A low volume area is the opposite. There was very little trading activity there. That usually means price did not spend much time there, and there was not much agreement between buyers and sellers. So when price returns to a low volume area, it can move through it quickly or reject on it fast. This is why volume profile is so powerful. It helps you understand where price may slow down and where price may move fast. The node breach engine uses this logic to help you identify important reaction zones directly on your chart. There are a few important levels you need to understand. The first one is the POC, or point of control. This is the price level where the most volume traded inside the selected profile. In simple terms, it is the most accepted price of that profile. If price returns to the POC, you should pay attention. The second level is the value area. This is the zone where most of the volume was traded. By default, many traders use around 68% or 70%. The top of that zone is called the value area high. The bottom is called the value area low. These levels can act as reaction areas, target areas, or invalidation zones. And then we have the POV, or point of void. Inside this engine, the POV represents a low volume node inside the value area. That means it is a thinner area within the broader auction. This can be useful because it shows where price may breach, reject, or move through faster than expected. The node breach engine has two main profile types, swing and session. A swing profile is based on market structure. It uses pivots to define the profile window. So instead of looking at one fixed trading day, it looks at the volume distribution between important swing points. This is useful when you want to understand the auction of a move. For example, from a swing low to a swing high, or from a swing high to a swing low. A session profile is different. A session profile starts a new profile every trading session. This is better for intraday traders who want to understand where volume formed during the current or previous session. So the difference is simple. Swing profile answers where was volume built during this move. Session profile answers where was volume built during this trading session. Neither one is always better. They answer different questions. If you are trading larger market structure, swing profile will usually give cleaner context. If you are trading intraday reactions, session profile can give you cleaner session-based levels. Now let's quickly go through the most important settings. Under profile scope, you can choose between swing and session. Swing creates profiles based on pivot to pivot market structure. Session creates a new profile based on the selected trading session. If you're using session mode, make sure the session hours match the market you are trading. Under profile window, you can choose whether you want to focus on the current developing profile or closed historical profiles. The bar scan setting is mainly a performance control. Higher values scan more bars but can make the script heavier. Under volume profile, swing width controls how wide or narrow the swing detection is. A higher swing width creates fewer, larger profiles. A lower swing width creates more frequent, smaller profiles. Histogram rows controls the detail of the profile. More rows means more precision, but also more noise and more load. For most traders, the default is a good starting point. Under value area, you can control the percentage of volume included in value. The default around 68% is close to one standard deviation logic. You can show or hide VAH, VAL, and the value area fill. Under point of control, you can show the POC, the developing POC, which I turn only on for trailing stop reference, highlight the POC row, show buy/sell pressure, show node strength, and enable deeper tooltip information. The touch margin setting allows the engine to treat price as touching the POC even if it comes close instead of hitting the exact level. That can be useful on fast moving instruments, but be careful. A margin that is too large can create loose signals. Under point of void, you can show the POV, developing POV, highlight the POV row, and extend the POV until it is breached. Under breach filters, you control signal quality. Require rejection close means the candle has to close back in the correct direction. Skip big momentum filters out candles that are too large compared to ATR. This helps avoid chasing candles after the move already happened. The wick size filter requires a meaningful wick on the rejection side, and the time filter lets you only allow signals during certain trading hours or skip certain hours. Under retest mode, you can tell the engine to wait for repeated retests before firing a signal. This can be useful if you do not want the first touch, but instead want confirmation that the node keeps being respected. Finally, the EMA trend filter helps prevent long signals in bearish trend context and short signals in bullish trend context. This keeps the engine aligned with the broader direction of the market if you want to trade that way. Now let's go back to the example from the beginning. Without the engine, the long setup looked fine, but once we turn on the node breach engine, we can see the problem. There is a POV between the entry and the target. That does not automatically mean the trade is invalid, but it does mean your target is more aggressive than it looks. So there are two better choices. Option 1, take profit before the POV. This is the conservative approach. You respect the node as a likely reaction area. Option 2, wait for price to breach and accept above the POV first. Then the POV can shift from being an obstacle into potential support. This is the main lesson. Do not place take profits blindly behind major low value or high value nodes. If a low volume node sits between your entry and your target, your trade has a problem you need to account for. Here is a cleaner example. The broader trend is bullish. Price pulls back into the POC. The EMA trend filter is still bullish. The candle touches the POC and closes back above it. That gives us a potential long signal. The logic is simple. Price returned to the highest participation area of the profile. Buyers defended that area. The trend context still supports longs. So now we can build a trade idea. The stop can go below the rejection candle or below the node area. The target can be the next volume node, the value area high, or the previous swing high. What you do not want is a target that ignores the next major profile level. The node breach engine helps you trade from node to node instead of guessing random targets. Now let's look at a POV example. Remember, the POV is a low volume node inside the value area. If price breaches this thin area and then rejects back into value, it can create a move toward a more accepted price. Often, that target is the POC. This is not a magic rule, but it gives you a clean framework. Price rejects from a low volume internal area. The market moves back toward the high volume area. That means the POV can help you find entries, while the POC can help you define targets. This is why the engine shows both. One tells you where participation is strongest. The other tells you where participation is weakest inside value. Here is a simple checklist you can use when trading with the node breach engine. First, what profile type am I using? Swing for structure, session for intraday auction. Second, where is the POC? Is it acting as a target, support, resistance, or an obstacle? Third, where are VAH and VAL? Is price inside value of the previous profile, above value of the previous profile, or below value of the previous profile? Fourth, where is the POV? Is price breaching a thin, low volume area? Fifth, is the signal aligned with trend? Do not force longs in bearish context or shorts in bullish context unless you have a very specific reason. Sixth, where is the next node? That is where your target planning should begin. And finally, where is the trade invalid? If price breaks the node, rejection candle, or structure that your trade depends on, the idea is wrong. Accept that and move on. So that is the node breach engine. The goal is not to make your chart more complicated. The goal is to make the auction easier to read. Candles show you where price moved. Volume profile shows you where traders were positioned. And the node breach engine turns that information into practical levels, breach signals, and reaction zones you can actually use in your trading plan. Use it to avoid bad take profits. Use it to find cleaner reaction zones. Use it to understand when price is moving from one node to another. And most importantly, use it with context, because one signal by itself means very little. But a signal at the right node, in the right trend, with the right target and the right risk, that is where the edge starts to become visible. If you are new inside OutsiderEdge, watch this video more than once. Open your chart and replay examples manually. That is how you train your eye. In the next video, we will break down the next engine and show how it can be combined with this one inside a complete trading framework. Thanks for watching.